DSPN, the Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Marto, it's always a pleasure, mate. And may I say, let me doff my cap if I had one on 3 Australian teams winning in the first round of Super Rugby, mate. Never happened before.
Is that a stat? Did you make that up? Because I can't remember it ever happening. Undefeated after round one, and what a great round one. And they all went down to the wire, and there were big scores. It's no problems trying to convert people to rugby when stuff like that happens. That was the best weekend. Is this the 30th edition of Super Rugby? I believe it is. Mm-hmm. You know how we have trouble getting converts and, why would I watch rugby? It's a silly sport. You bring a product on board like that last weekend and everyone will want to watch.
Yeah, perfectly timed as well in Oz, isn't it? Because, of course, no AFL on. We're still waiting for the NRL to start. And so, if rugby could get a little foothold, everyone wants to watch a bit of code, some code.
UFC shows, yeah. Everyone wants to watch large men run into each other at high intensity. And rugby league's not offering that at the moment. But you know what used to happen, Marty? It was years gone by, rugby probably started too early in the first 2 weeks of the comp before league and AFL got underway. There were too many mistakes, but last weekend was wonderful stuff, mate. And as I said, Australian teams winning, that can't happen. Because if mate, we hate getting beaten by New Zealand teams because you're little brother, and it really hurts. And no one wants to talk about rugby when you keep beating us.
So hang on a second, just rewind the tape a second.
Yes.
So does that mean that you were celebrating your hated New South Wales winning in the last minute?
I had to go to Sydney for a 60th birthday party, so I was watching it. I was watching it with. I told you about my nephew who's mates with Suaalii. So we dropped him at the stadium and I was with my brother-in-law. So, yes, I was a Waratah fan. It's a one-off occasion.
Okay, and didn't he? Look, he adds something, doesn't he, every time he gets the ball. I tell you what, you can put a team around him. Will you imagine that guy in the All Blacks, for example?
Yeah, sure. Okay,
sure.
You've got it. All right, how many more do you want? You've got enough, okay?
Well, we'll give you James O'Connor back and we'll swap for him, eh?
Actually, he was all right.
I
was interested to watch that, and he got on and he actually made a change. He made a bit of a difference. I think even the Crusaders have lifted his standard. What is he, 32, 33 in his 17th season of Super Rugby? Good on him for keeping on going. I used to have a feud with him, but I'm really happy for him. Nice to see.
So you're not related then to the people in Christchurch who saw him queuing for McDonald's in the drive-through and they paid his bill before he got there?
Oh, my God. Is that a thing? That's incredible.
Yeah.
Would a professional rugby player be eating McDonald's? That's the other question.
That was the other question. And, of course, he said afterwards, he said, thank you very much for paying for me. Now I've just been busted and the dietitian's up my backside.
Exactly. Skin fold session for him.
You know. The Reds play for the first time this weekend. Now, I do a rankings every week. I know everyone does a ranking, but right at the very start of the year, because of what you told me, your confidence in the Reds, I'd put them at number 5, out of the 6. And then I've kind of adjusted it a bit because we haven't seen them play, but they play MP. That should be a win for the home team, yeah?
I know. Tough for them. Tough for Moana because, away for 2 weeks, they don't like it. And having that they were going to win and then it was snatched away from them on the weekend. That's not good for your psychology, your team. So that your shoulders go down and they may have been down all week, and that's what I'm hoping for anyway. The Reds, I went down training the other day. They look everyone looks sharp and fit and strong, don't they? But they do actually look good and they seem to have a really good attitude. So I see even Les Kiss. Oh, are you going for the Wallaby job? I don't want to talk about that. This is all about the Reds. So attitude seems to be good. At home, they should win. But, God, last weekend showed anything. It's possible for away teams to win this year because something's gone on. What's going on? Somebody spoke to the referees and told them to stick that whistle, keep it in your pocket and stop blowing the bloody thing. And look what sort of a game we've got. We've got a spectacular game if referees butt out.
And also, hey, TMO, don't need you.
No.
Don't need you, mate. Stay out of the game. Speaking of Les Kiss, what is more chance of happening, that he gets that job or your mate Michael Cheika comes back? He's already been interviewed for the Wallabies job.
I know, but so is Les Kiss in another way. Like they've had chats to everyone because there's McKellar from Waratahs, there's Stephen Larkham from the Brumbies, and there's Les Kiss, and all of a sudden Cheika pops up in the last couple of days. My first response was F off, Cheika. You've had 2 goes, mate. You've had enough of you. But then I realised, you know what he's good at? Because he offends a lot of people like myself. He's good at small bursts, just taking a team, Argentina. Whenever he goes to a third season, there seems to be trouble. But if he takes over from Joe Schmidt, and maybe Joe Schmidt keeps on advising him for a little while because he can't be full-time Wallabies coach, if Cheika takes over, he'll go 26 and 27, and maybe that's okay. People get sick of him after 2 years. I don't know how his wife's lasted so bloody long, but that's the thing. He seems to be okay, and then you have a gutful. So every 2 years, he needs to be moved on. So maybe I've softened in my approach, and I'm now going, maybe he is the right man for the job because he's learned so many lessons. And he's actually, I spoke to somebody who knows what he's been up to over at Leicester. He's done a good job over there. So they're going, he seems to listen to others. That used to be his problem in the old days. He never listened. Now he's got some good advisors around him. So I'm nice. I'm feeling better about him if he gets the job.
Hang on a second. So let me do the third time lucky thing. So Eddie Jones, when he came back for the second time...
No, but that's Eddie. He never changed.
Okay,
he just became a bigger arsehole.
Warren Gatlin, when he came back for the second time, that didn't work either. So Michael Cheika. Volandis stared down the barrel of the camera in the US and said to POTUS, President of the United States, come and watch the rugby league. Now, I don't know, a lot of people have reacted to this and said, it was cheesy, it was stupid to do. I like the fact he's actually out on a limb and he's bloody doing it. What chance do you give him that Trump's going to turn up to the league?
Every chance, mate. Trump went to Daytona.
Yeah.
Trump goes to the UFC, but it won't favour him. He won't go because there's no redneck constituents there. Not that he doesn't need anyone to vote for him. No one ever gets to vote for him again. He's finished up this last one, but he loves going around and checking on all these rednecks. So therefore, rugby league, why would he care what Australians do? But Peter Volandis, it looked a bit desperate, mate. It looked a bit like something you'd do as a grade 10 writing a note to the girl across the aisle in class. It was sort of... I know Volandis has been wonderful for rugby league. You know, they were about to go broke in COVID when he finally said, if we don't get this game back on the road, we're going to go broke because the broadcasters are supplying everything. They posted something. I think it's coming up this morning, perhaps. I think they're going to reveal it to the club. $700 million turnover for a $62 million profit. That's rugby league.
I tell you what,
they didn't own one thing.
New Zealand Rugby, you're listening to this?
Yeah. Do you know that the NRL owns $312 worth of $1 million worth of real estate? And they've only started buying since COVID. So that bloke knows what he's doing. Is it dodgy? Perhaps, because he also runs horse racing. So I don't know, mate.
He's making money for the sport. I'll tell you what, we need it in this place because New Zealand Rugby's got no money. We spend all the Silver Lake stuff. Hey, what happened to the bloke last week getting married to his car? How did that work out?
Well, they're on the honeymoon now, of course. And
where's he driving it to?
And he drove it out. That's the last I saw of it. I don't know if you checked it online, but I was out last Friday night, and someone was going, I've had such a stressful week. And I just had to say, you've had a stressful week. I had to dress up as a priest and marry a man to a car. Calm down. Yes. Anyway.
Let's leave it with the Champions Trophy cricket because yesterday Black Caps did well against Pakistan. Your mob's playing this weekend, mate. We're going to meet you in the final?
Well, you guys turned your form around straight away, so maybe we can because we've been crap-hole in the build-up. So you never know. I'd love to think we could, but what about India? We're not playing, despite the tournament being in Pakistan, we're not playing there. Is it as if they run world cricket?
Yeah, what's all that about? Yeah, I know, but hey, they get away with it because they run world cricket, mate.
Oh, they do. Right,
that's right, yeah. Have another great weekend, mate. Super Rugby. Let's watch some.
Love your work.
DSPN.